Previously on Late Life Secrets, Eleanor's son Daniel was offered his dream job, Chief of Cardiology at the prestigious Hale Medical Group. But the wealthy Hale family gave him an ultimatum: accept the position, but leave his mother behind. Erase the woman who'd raised him. Eleanor fled to the garden devastated, and there she came face to face with William Ashford, the man who'd broken her heart 35 years ago. She learned his mother and the Hale family were connected. The same family that had dismissed her before was doing it again. And when Daniel arrived in that garden, he'd heard the truth. Now he had to choose. This is the moment everything changed. The moment my son made a choice that would define who he was, not just to me, but to himself. Daniel stood in that garden, his hand in mine, and faced the people who'd told him I wasn't good enough. And he spoke. This woman is the reason I'm standing here in a white coat. Dr. and Mrs. Hale stood silent. Victoria looked at the ground. When I was 18 months old, my biological mother left, just walked out. My father tried to raise me alone, barely keeping us afloat. When I was 5, my dad met Eleanor. She chose us. She didn't have to love me. I wasn't her child. But she promised she'd never leave. And when I tested that promise, when I did everything a scared kid does to push away the person he's afraid of losing, she stayed. His grip on my hand tightened. When I was 12, my father died. Construction accident. Eleanor was 39, suddenly widowed with a boy who wasn't legally hers. Social workers said I should go to foster care. Eleanor fought, borrowed money for legal fees, went to court, became my legal guardian. Because she'd promised a 5-year-old she'd never leave, and she meant it. He was crying now. She worked 2 jobs to put me through college. When that wasn't enough, she took a 3rd. When I needed money for my MCAT, she canceled her own dental appointment to pay for it. I watched her wince when she ate for months because she'd given me her dental money. She stood on stage at my med school graduation in a dress from Macy's and placed my white coat on my shoulders. That white coat belongs to both of us. He turned to Dr. Hale. You say my mother's background creates optics problems. I say her background is the only reason I have any standards at all. You call her story a Hallmark movie. I call it love, the kind you choose every day when there's nothing in it for you. His voice was steady now. Your offer was generous, but if the price is abandoning my integrity, I don't want it. He turned to me. Let's go home, Mom. I couldn't move, couldn't speak. Victoria stepped forward, crying. Daniel, wait. Can we talk? There's nothing to talk about. Mrs. Hale's voice was ice. You're making a mistake. You won't get an opportunity like this again. I know, and I'm fine with that. William's voice cut through. Margaret, Richard, stop this. He stepped forward. 35 years ago, I let our mother tell a woman I loved that she wasn't good enough, that she should disappear. And I let it happen because I was weak and scared. He turned to me. Eleanor, that woman was you, and I've regretted it every day since. He walked to his sister. Margaret, you're doing to Daniel what Mother did to me, asking him to choose wealth over integrity. Don't make him repeat my mistake. His voice dropped. I understand why. We were raised to believe our worth comes from exclusivity, that accepting someone like Eleanor threatens that if we admit hard work matters more than pedigree, we have to admit our advantages were just luck, and that terrifies us. He looked at Dr. Hale, but that's exactly what it is. Luck. Birth. Nothing we earned. And the cruelty we used to protect it, calling Eleanor's life a Hallmark movie, dismissing sacrifice as an optics problem, that doesn't make us better than her. It proves we're afraid. He turned back to us. Don't apologize for this choice. You're choosing integrity. That's real leadership. Then to his sister. If you can't see that Daniel and Eleanor are better than anything this family has produced, you've become exactly like Mother. Silence. Daniel broke it. Mr. Ashford, thank you, but we're still leaving. William pulled out a card, held it to me. Eleanor, my number. When you're ready, I'd like a chance to know you again, as who we are now. I took it. I need time. Take all the time you need. Daniel and I walked to his car, got in. He sat there, hands gripping the wheel. Did I just ruin my career? No, baby. You saved your soul. He drove us home, to our small house in our modest neighborhood. We sat at the small kitchen table. William Ashford, Daniel said. That's him, isn't it? From before Dad. Yes. You were pregnant. Yes. And his family drove you away, just like tonight. Yes. Silence. Then, are you going to call him? I don't know. Whatever you decide, I'm here, like you were always here for me. I reached across the table, took his hand. Tell me what you remember, when you were 5, when you met me and your dad. He smiled sadly. The playground. Dad took me there because I was so quiet after she left. I didn't trust people, especially women. Then you were there, sitting on a bench, not trying to get my attention, just there. I picked a dandelion and handed it to you. You said it was the prettiest flower you'd ever seen. Do you still have it? Pressed in a book. 30 years later, he laughed through tears. Of course you do. What else? Being 8, asking you at bedtime if you were going to leave like Mommy did. You promised you wouldn't. Did you believe me? Eventually, I kept testing you, knocking over juice, refusing to hold your hand, always asking when you were leaving. And I always came back. You always came back. Then Dad died. I was 12. I thought everyone I loved was going to leave. I screamed that at you, and you said, I'm not everyone. I'm your mom, and I'm staying. He wiped his eyes. I remember being 15, that huge fight. I said you weren't my real mother. You didn't yell. You just said, you're right, I'm not. Your real mother left, but I'm the one who stayed. He was crying openly now. And you were, at every single important moment. Of course I was. Mom, why did you stay? After Dad died, you could have walked away. You were only 39. Why did you choose me? I've been waiting for this question for 23 years. Daniel, you weren't a choice I had to make. You were the choice I got to make. The day I married your father, you became mine. When he died, that didn't change. You were my son at 6, at 12, and now. That was never in question. But you gave up so much. I gave up nothing. I gained everything. You were never a burden. You were my purpose, my joy. This is the best thing I've ever done with my life, even though I'm not really yours. You are really mine. Biology doesn't make a mother. Showing up makes a mother. I showed up every day for 23 years. That makes you mine in every way that matters. We sat there holding hands across the table, both crying. And I understood. This was enough. This was everything. 3 weeks passed. William's card sat on my dresser. Then Daniel got a call. Mount Zion Medical Center. The Chief of Cardiology had heard what happened. I heard you walked away from the Hales because they asked you to compromise your principles. That tells me more about your character than any recommendation. We'd like to talk to you. They offered him associate attending, path to chief within 7 years. Less money than the Hales, but honest work. He accepted. 4 weeks after that dinner, I called William. We met for coffee. He was already there, nervous. Thank you for coming. Why did you give me your number? Because I've spent 35 years wondering what my life would have looked like if I'd been brave enough to choose you. I'd like a chance to find out, as the people we are now. We're not 28 and 33 anymore. Maybe that's better. Maybe we needed to become these people before we could actually see each other. I don't trust easily. I don't blame you. I destroyed that once. I'd like a chance to rebuild it, however long it takes. We talked for 2 hours about the years between, his failed marriages, my life raising Daniel, loss and regret. I'm not ready for anything serious, but we can talk, coffee sometimes. That's more than I deserve. We started meeting weekly, then twice weekly, slowly learning each other again. Not as we'd been, young and reckless, but as we were now, older, wiser, carrying scars but also strength. 6 months later, William invited me to an art gallery. As a friend, just two people who enjoy art. We looked at paintings. At one point, standing before an abstract piece about second chances, he said quietly, "I'm not that weak boy anymore. I don't need you to fight battles for me. I can do that myself." I know, that's one of the things I love about you. Love. The word hung between us. I didn't say it back. Not yet. But I let him take my hand. 1 year after that dinner, Daniel called. "Mom, there's someone I want you to meet." Sarah, pediatric resident, smart, kind, middle class. Student loans and a beat-up Honda and a laugh that lit up rooms. "Mrs. Brooks, Daniel has told me everything about you. You're kind of his hero, which means you're kind of my hero too." I liked her immediately. They married 2 years later. Small wedding in my backyard. William came. He brought a gift, a framed dandelion. I had it preserved, thought you might want it displayed instead of hidden. Sarah and Daniel bought a house 10 minutes from mine. Sunday dinners became tradition. 2 years later, Sarah called early one Tuesday. "Eleanor, it's time. We're heading to the hospital." I met them there. 8 hours later, a nurse came out smiling. "Congratulations, it's a girl." They let me in first. Daniel held a tiny bundle. "Mom, meet your granddaughter." He placed her in my arms. Perfect. Tiny. Daniel's eyes. "What's her name?" "Eleanor," Sarah said softly. "After you." I held this tiny person named after me, and I understood. Family isn't biology. Family is choice. Family is staying. Now I'm 63, sitting in my small house where I raised Daniel. William is in the kitchen making dinner. We've been together 3 years, building something real. In a few minutes, Daniel and Sarah will arrive with baby Eleanor for Sunday dinner. We'll sit around my small kitchen table and eat pot roast, and it will be perfect. Not perfect because we have money or status. Perfect because we chose each other, because we stayed, because we built something real from broken pieces. The Hales offered my son a hospital. He chose his mother. And in that moment, both of us were finally free. If you're listening and you've been told you're not enough, that your background disqualifies you, that your struggles make you unsuitable, listen carefully. The people who told you that were lying. Not because they were evil, because they were scared. Scared that admitting you were valuable meant admitting their privilege was just luck. So they built walls, called them standards, called them legacy. But really, those walls were just fear. When the Hales called my life a Hallmark movie, they meant your existence reminds people that character matters more than pedigree. They weren't protecting their family. They were protecting their fragile sense of superiority. You don't have to accept their verdict. You don't have to believe them. If you're a stepmother told your motherhood doesn't count, biology is an accident, showing up is a choice. If someone dismissed your work as humble work, there is no such thing as humble work when it keeps the world running. If you've been told you're too old for love, I'm 63, and I'm loved by a man who sees all of me and calls it beautiful. It's never too late to be chosen. It's never too late to choose yourself. For me, it was a 5-year-old boy with a dandelion, a son who chose his mother over a dynasty. And 35 years later, a man who finally found courage. That's what remains. That's what lasts. Thank you for listening. This is Eleanor Brooks, reminding you that you were always enough. You just needed to believe it. Until next time.